Bitcoin is below 86,000 US dollars. The problems keep increasing, and we might even be approaching the sailor entry. Yes, we're really not far off anymore, that's for sure, friends out there. We're now at 85,000 US dollars for Bitcoin. The crisis hotspots are increasing. You really have to say that at this point. Japan is breathing down our necks, so honestly, I don't even know what positive things I can still tell you. In any case, first of all, a warm welcome, or rather, a very good morning to a new crypto update video. Yes, Bitcoin is below 86,000 US dollars, Ethereum is under 2,800 US dollars, and Solana is chilling at $130. The entire market is under pressure, and even the stock markets are taking significant hits. We're definitely going to take a look at everything in today's update video. This will probably be a longer video simply to cover everything, and after that no one can say anymore why, how, or for what reason things dumped now, even though Nvidia had such great numbers. Yes, let's take a closer look at all of that now. But before we get started, as always, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. So I'd say let's not waste any time. So Bitcoin is now below $86,000. We've really reached my maximum level of support now. After that, for me, it's 75 to 50,000. Definitely within the realm of possibility. So what's causing all of this? Point number one. Let's start with the simple things. The labor market data, or rather, we still don't know when the GDP will be released. And then the employment data for November is now supposed to be released only on the 16th of December. So 6 days after the Fed. That's already point number one. This means that the uncertainty regarding the Fed's interest rate decision and a possible rate cut is decreasing. So in 19 days, we probably won't get an interest rate decision, or rather, no rate cut. At the moment, the probability that rates will remain unchanged is at 65%. So that's already point number one, and most people don't really like that because we need cheap money. At the same time, unemployment rates are rising, but the non-farm payrolls were better than expected. You see, it doesn't really make sense, but that's just how it is. And that puts additional pressure on the markets. Then there was also the information that Nvidia's warehouses are supposedly quite full. And just because the warehouses are full doesn't necessarily mean that everything is running smoothly for Nvidia, and that's an important point. I've already said this before, you shouldn't overvalue that number. Sure, they were ultra bullish, but somehow they're apparently still sitting a bit on their inventories, and something just doesn't quite add up, and that's why yesterday, and I need to quickly switch over now. Already now. In the stock market, Nvidia took a significant hit and tested the support level. A brief lower low, liquidity was swept. There's still hope, friends. So not all is lost yet. And now we come to the biggest chunk, the one we've been talking about for the last 4, 8, I don't even know how many weeks by now. That's Japan. And yesterday, the first articles came out that some are hoping we might raise interest rates as early as December. I'll go into that a bit more in detail in a moment. And then a little later, another article came out suggesting that maybe it won't happen until March after all. But honestly, by March, it's too late. Just take a look at this. This is the dollar yen, which has now broken through the 158 mark, and at 160, I'll show you in a moment what happened then. And if we also look at the yields in Japan, the 10-year bonds are simply at 1.7 to 1.8%. That's not normal. And now Japan is also pumping a stimulus package into the market. That is supposed to, where did I read it? Here, they want an overall economic impact of $265 billion. That's not normal. And that's exactly what's putting extreme pressure on the markets, not just Bitcoin. Let's take a quick look at the USDJPY. It's going to the moon. And we're not far from the highs we saw a few months ago, when it was announced, hey, let's go ahead and raise interest rates, and then bam, bam. That means everything we're seeing right now in crypto might just be a damn warning sign. Sorry for my language, but a damn warning sign of what's still to come if we slowly but surely lose the support zone. And that's the tragic part at the moment. But to maybe give you a bit of hope, I already shared this with the Telegram group yesterday. This is the fractal from our all-time high in 2021, and it fits like a glove perfectly. Seriously, just imagine that part up there gone. I mainly looked it up because of the brick. Otherwise, the confluence with A, B, C, D, and E, where we are right now, is incredibly strong. Honestly, you could almost count the candles on one hand just as they ended up appearing. As for the targets, if we take the whole fractal, I'll show you in a moment. Short term, it would definitely be 110. And what's at 110? Exactly. There's a lot of liquidity there, according to the heat map. The higher we go in the time frames, let's look at the 2-week time frame again. We can see that up there is exactly the liquidity that fits very well with the fractal. If we look at the smaller time frames, we can also see that things are looking better at the moment. There aren't as many longs being opened anymore. Let's quickly double check that with the funding rates. Well, the funding rates were more negative last night than they are now, so it's critical. At the moment, the fractal is the only hope I have left. That's all I can give you. Otherwise, we're looking at 75,000, 69,000, 59,000, and then 48K. This is currently the most bullish thing I could show you, and now I'll show you the fractal. Please don't take it too seriously. This is the weekly time frame fractal, which fits perfectly like a glove. That would put us down here at my target of 48K. I had to chuckle a bit about that myself yesterday. But fundamentally, it would fit completely. We'll definitely keep watching it. Otherwise, as I said, Bitcoin is currently below 86,000 US dollars. Sorry for the long introduction, but some things just need to be said. We can't just keep saying, yeah, to the moon, and have no idea why we're dumping again. Nvidia was so good and blah, blah, blah. No, damn it, we just have to face reality. And right now, it's as critical as it has been in a long time. Sure, we have a bullish divergence. Sure, no matter which RSI level we look at, we're absolutely oversold. 24 RSI. The last time we had that was during the tariffs on the 26th February or sometime in mid-February. Then we have the Fear and Greed Index, which is at 15. Funnily enough, the altcoin season index is at 26. What the fuck? So, of course, you can read indicators until you can't anymore. People say, yeah, no, we need a reversal now. But if the market substance or the market itself just isn't there, then we've got a fucking big problem. And that's exactly it. The US dollar is rising. That's what we've been saying over and over for weeks now, that the dollar may have found its bottom here. The likelihood of a rate cut keeps decreasing. The markets have no data. What is the Fed supposed to work with? These are the real problems we're facing. I'm long, as I already mentioned yesterday in the Telegram group, and we also talked about it at length in the live stream yesterday, but it's with a certain amount of risk. Why with a certain amount of risk? We've filled the vectors, those were the points back here, on the daily and on the smaller time frames. The next vector is down here at 46,000 US dollars, which means if this long doesn't work out, then we'll enter my buy zone, and I'll buy spot as well. This isn't a Geiger position, because for me, this rally should go from 100 to 110, so somewhere in our we are fucking back area, that's where it should come in. But that's the only reason why I can go long here at the moment. That's the only reason I can go long here. That's the only option. Otherwise, I can't think of any other areas at the moment. And then it's better to stay on the sidelines because funding is still high. The heat map is slowly easing up, which is the only short-term positive sign that it's finally starting to let up. Let's move on to the altcoins. Ethereum, I'm long there as well. Yesterday, a long was picked up perfectly. Here at the entry of $2,815, we're now a bit below that. But here too, you have to be aware of the risk. We could fall to at least $2,500 here. That's the big risk at the moment. But, and this is a little bit of hope I can give you again, we've now completed a textbook ABCDE here. It's the same story with Solana. Solana is actually holding up better than the rest because the ETF inflows are still somewhat okay. But here too, ABCDE, Bitcoin completed, Ethereum, Solana. The three biggest big players, I'll cover XRP later in a separate video, but the three biggest big players have technically completed their corrections and would be ready for a reversal. Do what you want with this information, but that's the most bullish thing I can give you. Of course, it can always go lower. Take a look at Solana. Solana at 93. My bear market risk, or rather bear market zone, is between $38 and $21. Just saying. It's still too early for that. Even I wouldn't go that far, even though I've been bearish for weeks and months, but even I wouldn't go that far. It's definitely time for a reversal, but we also have to face the fact that the data and facts right now are just absolute bullshit. There's nothing bullish there, no matter how deep you dig and say, yeah, the employment numbers are rising, bullish, rate cuts, moon, Donald Trump pees out the window, hey, cool moon. I don't know, whatever dumb news, just scroll up and down on Twitter and immediately some news pops up that's supposedly bullish. Everything is bullish. If the dollar goes up, bullish. If the dollar goes down, bullish. If Bitcoin ETFs sell bullish because we're going to the moon, we've got diamond hands. That's how the game works. And that's not how it works. So, sorry. But anyway, getting a bit sidetracked. The video is a bit longer today anyway. All right, so let's see what else do we have. In the end, every altcoin looks like crap. So let's look at Chainlink. Chainlink under $13. That's absolute bullshit. Avalanche. Under $14, it's in the buy zone. Absolute bullshit. What else do we have? What strong projects? Sweet, $1.47. Could probably fall towards $1.30. But what you should, and now I want your full attention again. I know the video has gotten a bit long already, but I drew this yesterday evening during the live stream. MicroStrategy heading towards 135 to about $86 would put Bitcoin at 75,000. MicroStrategy will probably even drop out of the S&P 500 and NASDAQ and everywhere else if we go down to those levels. Next one, and then the real game begins. If Saylor runs into trouble here, also with his Bitcoin entry, which is now at 74,000, we marked it here yesterday, $74,400. Have fun. Japan can judge that very, very quickly in 20 days. 20 days time to get a rally going upwards. After that, if interest rates are raised, I see dark times ahead. But all right, let's move on to something positive. Gold. Not even that it's positive, but why? That's also the reason why I've always said we're waiting for the next event. We're waiting for the next event. And that's actually the interest rate cut. But the interest rate cut probably won't happen. And that's why gold is dropping and is still on track toward our zone. Silver is finally dropping too. It's about time too. We didn't get a higher high. On the contrary, we got a lower high perfectly into the golden pocket, and now please let it go down. These are all signs that the markets actually want to go even lower. If gold is dropping now and silver is dropping too, then we have a big problem as well. As I said, dollar above 100, euro is falling. That's a good sign. We're forming lower lows and lower highs here, or rather, this is the first attempt at a higher low, but still, it's all too risky for me. The dollar is a safe haven. Never underestimate the dollar, no matter how bearish you are or how much is being printed. Don't underestimate it. Let's move over to the stock markets. DAX is still in the support band. Respect. Dow Jones, come on, Dow Jones is at support. NASDAQ, I'd say it's critical because the 200 SMA on the 4-hour chart has been tested, closed below with a lower low, so below our green support. The chance that we'll fall towards 20,000 or 21,000 points is very, very high right now. If we get a recovery today, okay, then this was just a liquidity grab. Take a look at the S&P 500, same game. Closed just slightly below. Slightly. A truly critical phase for the entire markets. Russell is also completely dropping off. The US Tech 100 is in free fall anyway. Today it will really depend on how America opens, whether there is any positive news or not. Otherwise, this really, really looks dramatic. ETFs completely missed the buy zone, are also currently falling into the abyss, but in the end, it's basically the same chart. However, here the gap has been filled, which is positive. We also have another one down here at 45. That means another 10% drop here would mean 75,000 for Bitcoin. The 75,000 will probably come sooner or later, and the risk, well, you could almost say that is increasing day by day. This is very, very risky. Yeah, otherwise, what else is there to say? Stay safe. That's the only thing. Don't try to catch the bottom right now. Just let it be. Not anymore. Or if anything, DCA, but don't try to go in with leverage right now. Positive government bonds, they're dropping a bit. That's a positive sign. But otherwise, yeah, things really don't look good. Unfortunately, I can't give you any more hope than that. I'd love to tell you we're going to the moon or that everything will be fine and we'll hit 140,000 tomorrow. But I can't tell you that. I haven't been able to for weeks now. Sorry. If that's what you're looking for, you're on the wrong channel, unfortunately, but I'm trying to do my best. I honestly would not be surprised at all if we head towards 75,000. Really not at all. The only thing that would surprise me then is that everyone would probably be shorting. Or calling for a bear market, which would actually be too obvious, and then we'd probably get a head and shoulders shot pattern. That's it. As long as we have these problems, or these ones, it's going to be tough. But that's just my 2 cents for Friday. In any case, thank you so much for watching. We'll definitely catch up later for an XRP update. And otherwise, I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, join the Telegram group. And yeah, we'll catch up later for another XRP update. Until then, ciao, ciao. And as always, stay crypto.